Allowing yourself to dream. That's the biggest part, Taurus. I think there's a lot of things that happened in your lives that may have had some serious mishaps. And that sort of, those mishaps or those things that, those dreams that fell through, they really hit, and they really took a toll on your imaginative abilities. Not because you can't imagine things now, but I don't think you allow yourself to immerse yourself in the idea of a romantic relationship or being happy in a relationship, because you've been hurt, you've been burned, you've been disrespected, your boundaries may have been messed up, you may have not found the one, at one time you may have felt it. You've had gone through a lot of relationship challenges, but though these things were preparing you for a much stronger connection, which I feel is this one here. And it's so happy to be with somebody from the past, someone that you already know, someone that you already met. Sometimes this could be someone that's brand new, but you guys feel like you've known each other for forever, or you've had history almost, right? Like you guys known each other since you were like kids. It feels like it, but you don't actually may not have that sort of history with this person. You just have that kind of connection. You just have that sort of feeling with that individual, that vibe. Now, we're going to start with this person on this side here, but feel free to pick the side that resonates with y'all the most. But this person here has got the Nine of Cups. They see this, they're very content with this relationship. They're very happy with this relationship. I kind of get the vibe that this person feels like this is like a dream come true. They have what they're wished for, and they're ready to put in the work necessary to, make this a real thing, right? I think they're very content in this relationship. But at the same time, I also kind of get this vibe with the person with the Nine of Cups here, that this person kind of has this has this dream of a relationship. They know what they want, but like I said, with the situation at hand, right? Both parties may have gone through situations in the relationship, make it hard for them to believe that it's possible. However, the beautiful thing about this person that I love that's showing up in their physical plane, right? How they display themselves is that they're not giving up on the idea of love. Even though they've been through situations that would exhaust their patience, they still remain strong. They still remain determined to fight through and still be happy. Now, they may have boundaries that are very hard to penetrate, but that doesn't mean that they're ready to give up and throw in the towel. They're still working. They're working to let those boundaries fall, let them down, because I think this is also, of course, the recognition and the realization that they do have control of their outcome. They do have control of their lives and where they take their love and who they deem acceptable for their love. They feel, this is due to them feeling more and more empowered every day as they heal themselves through this relationship, right? But it's still going to take a little bit, because this person is having of course has gone through some things too. Now, this other person is showing the moon. They're not necessarily skeptical, but this is more of like the unknown is a really unnerving sort of thought process for this person. Somebody really doesn't know how this is going to turn out. But that's just it, right? This person doesn't see the unknown as a canvas for them to paint. And I think this person here, if doesn't necessarily have very much, doesn't have very much faith to begin with, which is why this relationship is pushing them to connect with their emotions, to get them to dream, to have faith, and to have faith in themselves mostly. Because this person is having faith in themselves. They're working on it. They may not have 100%, but I see that they're working on it. This person definitely is having to trust the unknown, and that's hard because they're always coming from a practical place. They always know what's going on, what's being sampled to them, what's being given, right? Now, this whole situation with the moon is also conquering fears. I think this relationship is bringing up a lot of anxieties, a lot of insecurities, a lot of things that make them feel anxious, a lot of things that make them feel uncomfortable. Doesn't mean that they can't overcome it, though. This relationship is encouraging that, because this is obviously this is not just a explosion of new emotions and new feelings and a sense of drive, right? So it's just it's like you guys have given birth to new life, but it's also to understand what one feels and attend to those feelings accordingly and immediately, instead of kind of like sitting on it and letting it kind of fester and get worse and then blow up. This person is now starting from the very beginning with their emotions, nurturing them, cultivating, allowing them to flow, understanding where they're coming from, expressing them even, which is so important to the person, especially considering this is them putting in their work in the relationship too, trying to knock down those barriers and push forward. I think this has a lot to do with this person trying to, overcome the anxiety and the nervousness around what could and couldn't be. And they're having to have faith right now in putting in their time, their effort, their commitment, their love, their loyalty, their dedication into this relationship. Because even though there've been, like I said, this person's gone through some things too, because the moon don't just happen. You've gone through so much. This is the 19th card in the major arcana. You have gone through 18 steps. Is it 19? No, it's 18. You've gone through 17 steps in the tarot to get to the moon. So you've gone through a cycle, and you've gone through 2 cycles. You know what I mean? You've gone through a whole, one whole cycle, then another cycle, and you're in that middle of the cycle. I think you ended that cycle and you started in it, because when it comes to the tower and the star, that's a reset button. That's a whole new cycle in life. So like in total, I feel like in the major arcana, there's a total of 3 cycles, or actually 4 if you count the hanged man and death. But this person has gone through so many cycles, so many different changes, so many different adjustments, that of course, right, they have insecurities of that phase still. They have to overcome to see the light of the situation, right? To recognize that their fears are all that they're all healable, and they're all solvable with patience and time and love. Now, because I feel like, and the reason why I feel like this person is definitely, willing to commit though, despite not being sure of how it's going to turn out, having to just literally go on faith, is because, it's because of the Ace of Pentacles in their present. They're showing that they're committed. They're planting the seed to growing a foundation of a stable relationship with this person. And the reason why is because I feel like the dynamic that this person has, they feel very stable in it. This is a very stable relationship. Now, the challenge is the 8 of Pentacles, which shows that there may be a lack of progress being made in the relationship. But in my opinion, that was kind of how Aries' relationship was. For the 8 of Pentacles, I don't think it's not necessarily, I don't think the challenge is the 8 of Pentacles at all. I feel like the challenge, I feel like the challenge is slightly different than Aries, right? Nothing moving, nothing growing. It's full-on commitment with this relationship. I think that's the most issue, because the 8 of Pentacles talks about focusing and committing and buckling down to the work, right? You have no problem doing that normally, Taurus, but because of everything that you've gone through, it's harder for you to just be like, okay, I'm committed. You show you're committed, but you actually are so unsure. You're not certain, and that uncertainty is getting in the way of you being able to contribute to the relationship 100%. So even though this person's giving you and showing you that they're willing to work with you, this person's also got a balanced situation too. But this is for themselves. This is for themselves internally and personally. They know that there's going to need to be a balance within themselves, and they also know that there's a need for a balance in the relationship too. And I think they're trying to get that under control. But of course, their defenses is up, which is why they seem to be kind of controlling of themselves and not really expressive. But they're trying. You can see with the 9 of Wands. But this person here, whoever this is, they're having a hard time giving to the relationship. That's there's a dynamic situation, and it's because I think the person usually gives too much in the relationship, and they're having a hard time either figuring out which is the right balance for them, trying to understand what they need in the relationship, trying to be more receiving, or this person is not contributing, or they know they're not contributing enough in the relationship because of that uncertainty. Because of what they're thinking. So usually how I see the spiritual energy is more of like how this is going to explain why this person is presenting themselves the way they present themselves, as well as this, think the way they think. And it's because they're not sure what they get out of it, or I think they get something out of the relationship, which just makes them anxious to give to the relationship. So the spiritual, at the same time as explaining why all these cards are coming up, is also, being explained by all the things that are coming up in their present, in their physical body, how you see them, or how you are showing yourself to other people or to this person, and what this person's thinking and what you're thinking, right? It's understandable, especially considering that things, life is hard, life is difficult, but it's overcoming that still. And I think the dedication and the commitment to working things through, working things out, is the hardest part, because it does require giving of yourself. And this person's starting it, but it's almost like the challenge is just the 100%ing it, 100% working and focusing on building the relationship versus not committing, versus, not making any real progress. Now, at the same time, it could be that there is no progress being made in the relationship because this person's defensive. Even though this person wants to start, they're not sure what the hell's going on. The moon can indicate that this person's also very confused as to what the hell's going on in the relationship. They're showing that they're committed. They're showing that they're ready to dedicate their time and effort to building the relationship. But this person has a dream. This person has a desire. That's something that they want, and they're defensive because I think it's not in their control to do that. I think they can't control that. I think they're coming from a place of wanting, of being under a certain level of control and having control of themselves, as well as maybe having a certain flow and a certain balance, and that's going to get in the way of the certain balance that they have developed within themselves because they're introducing something new. It's very weird. I think this person also, it's really weird. I think this person is actually happy as well. In another kind of explanation or another variation, this person could be very happy with the relationship. They can see this as very victorious, and they feel very defensive because they don't want to lose it either. You know what I mean? There's just so much you can see in this reading here, man. And that sort of defensive energy is not only, preventing growth, but it's also causing issues with communication and understanding where everybody's at in the relationship. I think that's why the Page of Cups is coming up, because someone needs to communicate how they feel and why they are behaving and acting a certain way, so that way there can be true progress in the relationship instead of stagnancy. Because there is such great passion here that's starting, that needs, obviously you guys rekindled, you have a lot of energy towards each other, but it's not being taken advantage of. It's not growing in anything because someone's trying to defend it, or someone's defensive about losing it, or defensive of themselves. Something's going on, in regards to being on defense for sure. Oops, past it. So you guys have Azetulites, okay, cosmic evolution. Azetulites are imbued with immense spiritual energy and information for guidance and insight. They are here to help Earth ascend into a higher expression of consciousness, understanding self, or self-understanding. You are a being of light here to help Earth evolve. Although you need to rise above mundane concerns, keep your feet on the ground and deal with the everyday. Too much emphasis on sweetness and light leads to ignoring your shadow energies, right? Which is the moon energy, and that's big, and the Knight of Wands rather, and even the Page of Cups is embracing your shadow self. Ignoring your shadow energies, which become inauthentic and lethal. Niceness if not acknowledged and integrated. So let me read that again just to make sure everybody kind of understands that, because that sounded a little weird. Too much emphasis on sweetness and light leads to ignoring your shadow self, which becomes inauthentic and lethal. Niceness if not acknowledged and integrated. Stay real and leave your ego behind. Okay, and this is the rejuvenation message. You are here to represent a spiritual light on Earth and help it evolve. Make yourself heard. Definitely important, guys. Communication is so important. A project is successful no matter what. And the Page of Cups talks about, making yourself heard. But making yourself heard coming from an emotional place, coming from an authentic place, right? Of what you're feeling. Sorry. So, A project is successful no matter what. Avoid becoming impractical and having too high an opinion of yourself to the detriment of others. Retain your humility. The chakra resident affects its all highest crown, and the soul path is assisting the earth to evolve. So it's allowing your physical and ego self to evolve with your spiritual self, with this relationship being in a higher energy. It's very intense. And it's going to be one that you guys definitely grow from in such an exponential way, and honestly see yourselves in a way better, way different light. I think this is really transformative for you guys. But it starts by looking at where all of this energy is coming from, the source, acknowledging it, giving it love, and then expressing it to each other to work on building something together.